In conversation with Aspire Solutions. Hi, I'm Mike Steyn. I am the Operations Director and part owner of Aspire Solutions. We are a custom software development house and we do business systems for various clients. Okay, so I'm here sitting here with one of my senior software developers, Philip Nell. Hello, Philip.
Hi, Mike.
It's nice to have this conversation away from the day-to-day rigors of work. The topic that we're looking at the moment is to say, how does Aspire Solutions do tech better? And it's such a broad concept. It's a bit of a throwaway statement, I would say. I don't know if you'd agree with that.
Yeah, there's a lot of buzzwords in the industry, and some people can get caught up with the
Yes.
buzzwords instead of the actual technology behind those
I,
words.
I agree with you, and I think that every tech company would like to believe that they do tech better, and that's all the way from Apple and Amazon all the way down to the likes of where we operate in terms of servicing business clients in the context of South Africa. Um, and I think that concept is a difficult one to say, how do we do tech better? And everyone will say we do tech better, but I do believe, and I think that you would probably agree, that in the context of Spire's journey to the way that we approach our tech projects, our bespoke software development projects for our business clients, is that we have adopted and evolved a way of working which is baked very much into our DNA on a daily basis, which certainly, in our opinion, means that we are doing tech in a smart way for our clients. I'm not sure if you would agree with that statement.
Yeah, no, it's definitely true. And you touched on a few topics. One thing that I feel where that comes through in our uh, philosophy is where we don't try to take the bleeding edge technology constantly when offering solutions, but to find technology that's been proven and time tested, and we then gain both stability and then, features that our clients would require.
I think that's very relevant, and I think that what you're referring to there is also finding the balance in a ever-changing technology landscape, and not saying the minute something comes out, I'm going to try and adopt it because it's the next big thing. But at the same time, you can't also be left behind. You can't be using technology that's 5 years, 6 years, 7 years old. And I think within the context of Aspire Solutions, we've got something that we know works for us. It is good for the way that we would like to approach our clients, and that largely comes to the ability to rapidly deploy and develop and deploy business solutions for those clients. And I think that technology stack that you're referring to, or that technology approach, speaks to making sure that you've got very strong components and standards and platforms in place to allow you to do that in a rapid manner, but at the same time that you're not getting left behind on technology that's going to be so old and so difficult to maintain in 3, 4, 5 years. We've earned our scars that way, I think it's fair to say. We've
Oh,
learned
definitely, yeah.
from the past, and we're now at a point where we know and we feel comfortable that what we're doing is future proof, but it's also not trying to keep up with the Joneses and taking every single thing every single time it comes out, because that is a recipe for disaster, because you're going to jump from one technology to the next. I don't know if you think that's fair.
Correct. And I remember this being a bit of a conversation at the time where, obviously as a developer you want the latest and greatest tech to play with and stuff, but we sat and soberly we decided that, it's, you might gain some, but the, I can almost say the cons or the dangers when you implement bleeding edge stuff is quite dangerous, because then you will find that you spend way more time just keeping your stack up stable versus implementing new solutions or catering for certain business requirements better.
Yeah.
So it's finding that balance.
Yeah, I think that's definitely key. And I remember us having broad discussions, and not arguments, I would say, but certainly robust discussions about, no, we're going to leave it the same for 2, 3 years versus, pick up the next thing. And I think that we've found a balance where we've got those standards and stuff in place. And the other thing with that is the reason we do that is because of the outcomes we're trying to get for our clients. And that comes back to us being able to develop and deploy specific bespoke business applications for our clients rapidly, and it speaks to the way that we approach that. There are certain practices that we do around the technology stack in the way that we approach the development, I'd like to unpack those a little more in a future podcast. They speak to our approach of saying we've got to approach things in an iterative, agile manner. Touch on the agile philosophy, the agile methodology, which we don't follow exactly, but also stuff that goes with that. The just-in-time design principle, continuous development. I'd like to unpack those in a future podcast. But the point is that without a stable technology stack, it's very hard for us to get the outcome of rapid development for our customers. I think it's also prudent to comment that at the same time, it does not mean that we ignore the new technologies that are coming out. Okay, we have to create the space, especially for our senior developers and everyone else, to be able to take those new technologies, play around with them, see what is important inside, see what is hype, what is actual value, and build that back into our stack. So we do kind of create the environment. It's always a problem in terms of time, but we do create the environment that says, as things come out, let's create the space, which we call for blue sky, R&D type stuff. And Philip, you've been doing a few of those, haven't you?
Yeah, no, definitely. And you know, you always have to keep your eye on the developing technologies, not then losing sight of where we want to go in future.
Can you give me a few examples of things that you're looking at the most, specific things?
Yeah, so we're starting to look at machine learning type stuff where, it's great as a technology, but then you have to ask yourself, how can you take that technology and bring it back to solutions for your clients? And we came up with a nice use case where we find that it will actually suit our needs. So now we find it's the time for us to start
starting to look at it, starting to decide how to put it back into our frameworks, all sorts of good stuff. Image recognition is another one you've looked at.
Correct.
Using third-party services like Google in the cloud services, so on and so forth. But again, the philosophy is don't just rush out and embrace it. Have a look at it, play around with it, see where it has value in terms of stuff, and then bring it back to the mold in terms of the stack. So I think that we've probably painted a picture, and maybe in summary, and we can end this conversation. As I say, what we'd like to do is unpack the specific things, and we'll pull Cobus Duplessis in, another lead developer, and other guys within the organization. But what we have done in the last 3-4 years is created a good standard within Aspire Solutions, created a framework that allows us to do rapid software development. Not that is, if I can say, drag and drop software. It is based on good, solid IT standards. It's extendable, it's standard compliant, it's open architectured. We use that as a springboard to do rapid development, and with that comes the approach around that stack in the way that we operate. So in future podcasts, we can talk about not only the technical stack, we can actually get a bit deeper into that and discuss the components of it to a degree. And I think that's also probably relevant. That's a real technical discussion, but also then we can start talking about how we use that in the context of the project itself to get to that aim. And again, I am repeating it a little bit, of rapid deployment of business software for our clients, because that's what the world demands now. That's the way we operate. That's how we differentiate ourselves. That's how we do tech better, by being able to get these business applications in quicker and better and standard compliant, which allows our clients to then go forward and get the value out of those business cases. So in a nutshell, that overall gives the picture of how we do tech better. Thank you, Philip.
Thanks, Mike.
Signing off for Conversations with Aspire Solutions.